Today we're having a look at Handre Pollard's goal kicking technique and why he is one of the best kickers in the world. It's super interesting on pillar number 8, one of the key changes that he makes to his follow through when he needs just a little bit more distance on his goal kick. Now Handre is a really rock solid guy. He kind of reminds me of Roger Federer when it comes to goal kicking. Nothing really phases him, and as soon as there's a big moment or something interrupts his goal kicking technique, nothing is a problem. He just handles it and deals with the pressure. And we've seen him time and time again deliver in the key moments. Pillar number 2 is ball setup, so we're going to have a look at how he sets the ball up on his tee. Now just putting some angles on this, it looks like Handre's ball's around about sort of that 30-degree mark, which is actually leaning the ball forward quite a bit when it comes to goal kicking. The beauty of his technique is because he gets through the ball so well with his kicking foot and his follow through, which we'll get into, it really saves him with his ball setup. Plus it does help a little bit with getting a little bit more extra distance. Number 3, when it comes to long target, Handre's got a nice right to left ball flight, which is really consistent for right foot kickers. For kickers, I like to use the mindset of a right channel. So this here would be the right channel that we aim down with our nice right to left ball flight. The ball always goes down there. If we do pull a little bit, ball still goes over. If it stays straight, ball still goes over. Basically, a right channel target means ball still goes over. Number 4 is approach, and I'm liking what I'm seeing also with this little foot up thing that's happening in his right foot. Just a nice little balance pose, probably getting that thought of really taking momentum forwards toward the ball. But we've got chest, we've got hips, we've got knees, we've got feet, everything and energy is going towards the ball, which is great to see. Now from here, the first movement is really simple. It really builds in towards the ball and gets him directly where he needs to be to land that plant foot to make a good strike. Now let's have a look at one of my favorite pillars, this rodeo arm, this left arm. What are we doing with it and how does it help us get balance when it comes to goal kicking? In the kick, Handre's actually got a really simple rodeo arm. It starts out to the left, but it basically just stays parallel to the ground from this position here all the way through the kick and across his body, giving him really good balance. Now rodeo arm is important on this side of the body. It helps us to allow to stay tall, so the body can stay really tall through that with that rodeo arm balance, but also allows our kicking foot to get through to target. If we don't have that counterbalance, then we're not really going to find balance and be able to get through the kick as well as what we can. Like most high percentage goal kickers, Handre's got a really simple plant foot that lines up almost just to the right of the target line of where we want to start the ball. That's basically the angle of his plant foot, which is really helping with that right to left ball flight, telling his body exactly where he wants to start the ball and the line that he wants to commit to. So when looking at kicking foot, we want to go from where does it start, what happens at impact, and where does it get through to the follow through. Do we go from here and pull in that big C shape, or do we make contact and get through to target? So as we step this through, really strong contact. We'll talk more about his hips soon, but in that follow through, you can see with that rodeo arm plus kicking foot, it gets all the way through to target, really just promoting. He knows exactly where he needs to get to, and he gets his foot almost touching the crossbar with his kicking toes. This view here shows it really well as well, how far back that kicking foot is coming from. We take it through to the time of impact, we're strong, but look how well this kicking leg gets through to target with his big tall upper body, kicking foot going through, and all the way through this little hop that he does, he's staying in the kick really well, and that kicking foot isn't crossing over. We're not getting into that big C shape. This is why he's such a consistent kicker, because there's just no room for error. When it comes to pillar number 8 and staying strong through the kick, this guy is one of the best at it because of his chest and his hips, and at the time of impact, how strong he is. So at the time of impact with the ball, like look how straight and strong these hips are. We're not sitting on a little seat. We're really strong through impact, and that's why this guy looks so effortless when he kicks a ball. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, there is a little change that I've seen in the follow through. So this here is the hop technique. We get that little hop on, so just watch that plant foot hop forward and take momentum through to target. But when he needs a little bit more distance, he makes this change. So this here was a big distance kick, 53 meters, and this is the change that he makes. Man, he hits this so well, and this here is a really good example of that right channel effect that I was talking about. So if that's the right channel, he basically hits this ball dead straight. There's no curve or no ball flight, and it still goes through. This is why having that right channel target is really important. But the change that I want to point out is instead of using the hop technique where he stays in the kick really well and hops forward on that plant foot, we actually see something different. We see more of the hurdle style techniques where he makes contact, foot gets off the ground, and he actually ends up landing on that kicking foot. You can see here, he's actually coming down on that right foot. Let's take it back. So it's almost like that American football kickoff style or Geordie Barrett, where you're actually hurtling forward. Now, why this is different, I think Handre knows that this is a big kick. He is getting so much right back here. His ball setup, his approach, everything about his goal kicking technique is so tidy that when he does need a little bit more power, he can just trust his timing and technique, get through this hurdle, and everything will be okay. Now, I measure momentum from the half meter after the ball, so what happens in this space? How well do we get through it? So let's take a look at that in pillar number 9. As we said, one of the reasons why he's such a consistent kicker is how well he wins this half meter. There's the kicking line. He's got through this half meter so well, so strong. This is why he's so consistent. And number 10 is how well do you stay in the kick? How well do you keep your energy in the kick and not come up and look? The old saying, keep your head down, for me, it's stay in the kick. So let's have a look at what happens with his eyes during the kick. So at the time of impact, focus is still on the ball, love that. Handre's eyes come up at the top of the follow through. You can see they sort of just come up after this frame. We're already through the kick, our energy's staying down, we're winning that half meter. Handre's got a nice little lean back thing that he does. I think this is very unique to him and his kicking style, but because he wins this half meter so well, we're not leaning back at the time of impact, which is great. It just happens in his follow through. So basically, for any young kickers out there, this is the guy to mimic. If you're not too sure about your goal kicking technique, Handre has got one of the most cleanest, simplest, energy efficient goal kicking technique there is. It's so simple, it's so deliberate, and if you want to be a consistent goal kicker, this is the guy you should follow.